Hello, everybody, and welcome to SFU Beedie's Executive Education webinar on AI leadership in healthcare. My name is Dr. Andrew Gemino, and I'm the Associate Dean of the Executive Education at the Beedie School of Business at Simon Fraser University. And today, I am very honored to share this webinar with three really excellent healthcare leaders, Brian Simmers, Sheazin Premji, and Ozge Uncu, who will help us to discuss how leadership and artificial intelligence is reshaping health and systems of care. Before we start, I want to recognize that Simon Fraser respectfully acknowledges the Musqueam, the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, as well as the CAADSI, Coquitlam, Kaqua, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo and Tsawwassen peoples, on whose unceded traditional territories our three campuses reside. But I also wanted to say that all the speakers here are providing their thoughts from the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And I wanted to say that my personal commitment to truth and reconciliation is to try to increase awareness of Indigenous cultures and the ways of knowing and doing. So I encourage you to explore more about Indigenous cultures in the areas that you live and take the lessons that these cultures are providing regarding our connection to community, to land, and to people. And I believe we have much to learn from these cultures. So let me start now. Then what we're going to do in this seminar is I'm going to give you a brief intro. We're going to go into a panel discussion. Each of the panelists will introduce themselves. We'll talk a little bit about SFU and healthcare leadership and what we're doing in healthcare, and then we're going to do Q&A with the audience. And please, if you have any questions, please start entering them into the Q&A option inside the webinar. So I invite you to take a look at your options and make sure that you make those additions. And please add all the way through, and we'll be selecting the ones that have the most interest. So I'm going to start by just taking an example of scanning and analysis, where researchers have developed AI models capable of identifying breast cancer up to 5 years earlier than traditional diagnostic methods. And closer to my heart, AI researchers have also made remarkable strides in diagnosing and treating non-Hodgkin's lymphoma using AI models, which can analyze PET and CT scans with higher accuracy and then detect the disease earlier and predict how it might progress. These are all great additions, and these AI-supported evidence allows clinicians to really bring earlier interventions, and they generally tend to be more effective, and they can create targeted plans. But as leaders in healthcare, you realize that these advances in scanning analysis have to work in systems of care. So when AI-supported scanning tools help define even more cases requiring newer treatments, this brings concerns of capacity, priority, access, service delivery, and all ready to overstretch systems. So healthcare leaders, probably more than any other leaders, understand that innovations in systems of care come with consequences, sometimes unforeseen. And we kind of proceed with this balance of optimism and caution, of hope and constraints. And we undertake these critical analysis to try to build sustainable systems of care and that serve as best they can. So these are the challenges that we are faced as we get developments in AI. So advances in scanning is just a small example of the actual and potential use of healthcare in AI, or AI in healthcare. So today we're going to explore not just technologies, but the broader implications for systems of care, for the patients, for clinicians, for the leaders who support and serve them. So this conversation is not just about AI. That's the thing for us to remember. It's about leading better systems of care, about improving outcomes, and ultimately making a difference in patients and healthcare workers' lives. And I just encourage us to share thoughts and questions in the Q&A, and just make sure that we delve into these topics in as much in the hour that we have. And we'll be leaving time at the end of this webinar for questions from the audience for sure. So please add a question. When you see a question that you want answers to, please support it with a thumbs up. So now that we have kind of the introduction together, let's now begin with a short introduction and opening statement from each of our panelists. And let's start with Sheazin, followed then by Ozge, and then Brian. So Sheazin, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew. And thank you, SFU and the DAO program, for the opportunity to be part of this esteemed panel. It's a true privilege, and I actually look forward to the learning from today as well. So I am Sheazin Premji. I'm the Executive Director of Fraser Health Center for Advanced Analytics, Data Science and Innovation, or CAADSI for short. I have been in this role for almost 4.5 years and get to work with bright minds within the CAADSI team and Fraser Health's digital patient and provider experience teams. and amazing clinicians, the legal team and corporate teams across the system. A little bit about myself. I have over 20 years of experience in healthcare leadership. I like to solve problems and value helping people improve their quality of life and that of society at large. My foundational journey in healthcare or health began right here at SFU, where I earned my degree in kinesiology. I then went on and completed a biology degree at Dalhousie and an MBA at McMaster University in Health Services Management. I also hold executive certificates in management and leadership, as well as digital business from MIT Sloan Executive Education Program. And fingers crossed, in the next few short weeks, I will be completing my advanced management program to earn MIT's advanced certificate for executives in management, innovation, and technology. So I really enjoy this space, as you can see. My journey in BC Health really started at Vancouver Coastal Health in Vancouver Acute, where I was part of the senior leadership team as a director of special projects. And I was very, very fortunate to engage in all types of transformational work in many clinical areas, targeting access and flow, quality, operational change projects. I got to closely work with Vancouver Coastal Health's talented decision support team. I still continue to learn from many teams within the system in healthcare, and they're one of them. I then moved into a role with Provincial Health Services Authority, where I provided oversight in the development of provincial quality and utilization management of blood and blood products as part of the Provincial Blood Coordinating Office, and leveraged their central transfusion registry to do this. I laterally moved into Lower Mainland Labs in the same VP portfolio, where I gave oversight to a team that supported the integration of lab services across 31 hospital sites. I spent about 7 years there, and then I moved on and started my own care navigation business with a business partner. I had a baby during this time. I took a little break, I came back, and then COVID hit, and it actually impacted our business. And so we did have to pivot. So I started to look at enhancing my skills because I like to solve problems, and healthcare has many wicked problems. And so I started to look around and I saw AI. I took a course in AI in healthcare at MIT, and I've been hooked since then, and I just haven't stopped learning. I was very fortunate that the posting for this role came up later on in the year at Fraser Health, so I applied, and the rest is a history. A little bit about Fraser Health before I share a little bit more about our AI journey. It is BC's largest health authority, serving 2 million diverse people, or 1 in 3 British Columbians. It covers all services from primary to tertiary care in 13 hospitals, 3 new redevelopments. It has approximately 50,000 staff and volunteers, almost $6 billion operating budget. I think it's a bit more now, and just over $6 billion of multi-year capital projects. It is one of the fastest growing health regions in Canada. So one of our priorities is digital transformation and innovation to continuously improve the quality, consistency, and safety of the care we provide. We know that we will not be able to continue to do things in the traditional way, as there's just not enough health human resources, which is experienced across Canada, if not globally, as well. And so reducing the administrative and cognitive burdens and proactively managing quality and safe care, we believe will allow us to have clinicians focus more time back on care, and solutions like AI become co-pilots and automate some of the processes that we have today. In Fraser Health, we have over 40 AI solutions in various stages of development. We have about a dozen already deployed and in active use. Before I joined the team, there was already AI solutions or MLAI solutions for patient safety priorities, such as predicting urinary tract infections and sepsis. And these have been around for many years. We continue to develop AI from, we call it from a zygote to an adult. So once we deploy it, we know that it's its most lovable product, but we continue to evolve it and mature the AI, working with our clinical partners. So there's kind of 3 ways that we accelerate our AI development. One is using our in-house team. The other one is through co-creation, so through the innovation ecosystem with entrepreneurs, and these are for non-commercialized solutions. And so Fraser is kind of that test bed for those solutions. And then we also purchase technologies that have AI in it because it just makes sense, such as for diagnostic equipment, to purchase them rather than develop them in-house. I'll just go really quickly in terms of how we work in those three streams. So for our AI in-house solutions, we have an expert team, and it's composed of data system software engineers, or our infrastructure team. I have a team of analysts, all different types of analysts and data scientists. And then we have what is our consulting arm. It's kind of what you find in consulting firms. And they really are the bridge between our program or clinical areas and the technical teams in terms of identifying the problems that need to be solved and developing the solutions around it. We work, I also have the innovation program, which is part of this team, which enables that innovation ecosystem, whether it's entrepreneurs or through funding sources. So that also sits here. We use an analytics management framework. I study at MIT, so we're using the MIT framework. And so we've been using it for over 4 years. And what this does is it allows us to anchor our staff in clinical program areas to really have a common understanding on how we will develop data solutions and solve problems. I will say that consulting rigor has been our catalyst, or our secret sauce, in terms of the ability to accelerate and work with our program areas. So it is something that's working well for us. The dialogue partnerships are strong, and it really helps us accelerate in our co-creation model that we use in-house. Examples of some of the solutions we've developed. One is our in-house developed estimated date of discharge predictive ML AI model. So what this particular model does is it identifies patients ready to be discharged 24 hours before their discharge is ready. And this allows clinical teams, access and flow teams to more proactively get organized, and for families to also proactively get organized. And we've seen some very positive results with that. The other one is a large language model. We call it our AI. It's an AI virtual assistant. We've named it AVA after our it's called the Advanced Virtual Assistant. And really this particular solution was developed when our Royal Columbian Hospital went live with a new electronic health record system. We knew at that time we would not have enough training support or at the elbow support to support our clinicians who are adopting to a new digital system. And so we developed this solution, which is not your typical chatbot. There is interaction going on. And at the time of go live, we saw 600 interactions with AVA, which means 600 less calls to a call center and eligible support. So it's an experience. We've had very positive feedback, and I talked about going from a zygote to an adult. AVA continues to grow and get more mature with time as we learn through that.
So Sheazin, I'm probably going to stop you there because there's a lot. I know you got tons of to talk about. I look forward to the breadth that you bring to this discussion. But maybe I'll move on to Oz just to see how he's doing. So Oz, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from.
Absolutely, and it's really hard to follow Sheazin, but I'll try. Well, thanks for having me. I would love to be part of this webinar as well and share my experience and learn from everybody. My name is Ozge Uncu. I'm a partner at KPMG Canada, leading the Vancouver arm of Lighthouse team. It's the Center of Excellence for Data Analytics and AI. I've been a data and analytics and AI practitioner for the last 2 decades, most of which was in healthcare. Before I go to my story or ultimate professional goal and personal goal, like KPMG, maybe it is not obvious because it's known for accounting and, like audit and tax, but we actually do have a consulting arm, advisory arm, and we do provide end-to-end data analytics services, AI services, starting with, Jumpstart, we call it, helping clients accelerate their journey in transforming their businesses using AI. Strategy, developing the strategy and roadmap so that there's a concrete AI strategy that aligns with the business goals. AI trusted, we call it, I'll touch upon this quite a lot, I believe. But we have a framework that prioritizes regulatory and ethical standards and frameworks at every stage of AI implementation. And hopefully that will translate into adoption of AI. And AI workforce, like we have like an arm to assess the opportunity where Gen AI in the workforce and how will it impact our workforce. And of course, we have the technology arm, like what technologies do we need in order to enable AI? In terms of my ultimate personal and professional goal is to help organizations build trust in data and analytics and AI and adopt and embed at scale to improve outcomes. In the context of healthcare, of course, this is patient outcomes, provider satisfaction, overall system outcomes. I think few things did not change since I joined the sector 20 years ago, given the major forces impacting healthcare, aging population, workforce shortage, budget constraints. We always been asked to do more with less. And I do think that AI has the potential to be the most transformative change we will experience since the advent of internet to achieve that. Well, I'm extremely excited and hopeful about the positive impact of AI in healthcare. Like personal story, I guess, is I'm coming from an era where data and analytics and AI was considered as enablers dependent on and delivered by only technical people, like myself. Like I'm a data scientist by background, which obviously helped my career, but I think this needs to change. And I came from an era where, like frontline workers, clinicians feared the unknown, and like they were inherently defaulting to what they know, and all of us actually resisted to change, and hence the AI and analytic outcomes were not used mostly, like if they, some time back. As an example, like I developed a model that predicted overcapacity in a hospital, like this is years back. And we developed a regression model-based model and a neural network based model. Like I'm a student of Hinton from U of T. And like a regression based model has 80% accuracy, and a neural network based model was like 90%. Guess which one like the client picked? It was the regression model. And it was just being able to understand, explain what why it did what it did and whatnot. But I still to this day regret I didn't push the client more to better understand the neural network based model, not the inner workings perhaps, but the patterns it was identifying and etc. Right? And like the resisting change piece, I think like Sheazin already said something about the discharge. We developed a model that predicted the discharge date at the onset, like it, the minute you get in, based on whatever the admission diagnosis was. Like we were actually assigning a date. Oh boy, like I think like it was resisted a ton. But like all in all, and like one other thing is like what I observed again through my journey is AI, data and analytics was always treated as just innovation project, but not the hardcore enabler for the core processes, at least in the way back, right? And it killed it. And now, and like the best example to do that, like we didn't think about like systems and whatnot. Again, readmission is I think is a hot topic and everybody's still doing it. Way back, we did a prediction on readmission, involuntary readmission. Everybody was like really keen on like the accuracy piece because we actually had high accuracy in like having predicting the true positives, like the people who will be actually readmitted. But we produced a ton of false positives as well. So we said they will be readmitted, but they will not be readmitted. And when we actually discussed this with physicians, like what is the impact of the system? Well, you know what, like at the end of the day, like this was an innovation project and let's leave it at that. But when we calculated if the intervention was to leave the patient in the hospital for an extra couple of days, like length of stay increasing, the burden on the system increased a ton. So, fast forward to today, like now we're actually with the, I guess, like democratization of Gen AI, the API as a service, and everybody is like a different, I guess, like generation lived through like digital era. I think we are more open to have the system thinking and more, I think, appetite to use the AI in our core workflow. And I'm truly excited, and I'm truly like thrilled about where this will take us.
That's great. I really appreciate, and the technical background, I think, has been quite useful as we go through this discussion. So thank you so much for sharing that. And maybe Brian, over to you to hear your perspectives and thoughts.
I will. I'll be brief. So Andrew, I think I figured out my connection here. So I did my undergrad at SFU and I articled at KPMG. So like we got it all lined up here. My name is Brian Simmers. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Providence Healthcare, but I'm also our VP of Health Informatics, which is essentially our IT and data analytics. And I'm also the president of our ventures group. So we have a for-profit subsidiary. Providence, if you don't know who we are a Catholic healthcare organization. We have a number of sites in the Vancouver coastal region. We are building a $3 billion brand new St. Paul's campus. So brand new hospital with an attached research tower, innovation center, going to be an amazing place. Also, in the spirit of reconciliation, we are actually returning part of that land to the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and they're going to build a welcoming center so that they are able to welcome and host other Indigenous peoples from around the province. So I wanted to explain a little bit about Ventures. So Ventures is really our business-facing interface. So we are designed 100% to work with industry, to meet timelines, to enter into agreements, to do creative structuring. We also do venture investing in startups. We have done now, I think, 9 digital supercluster projects. So we have 3 that are active. Most, if not all of them, had an AI component to them. So in the areas of AI use with point-of-care ultrasound, AI use in the detection of cancerous moles, AI use around predicting addiction to opioids post-surgery. The projects we're working on right now are around pressure injuries, but also how do you safely reduce the amount of alarms that someone in an ICU might hear? So we've been working with industry, building partnerships, and that is really been helped us in our AI journey. Just a little bit about my background. So I'm not from a healthcare background. Again, finance, business, spent a bunch of time in startups. So building businesses, taking them public, selling them. And in particular, just of note, was in a distracted driving software business. So basically had spent 10 years in wireless making phones, selling phones, and then I spent 5 years trying to make them not work when you drive. And a very challenging technical problem, but a lot of the elements of IoT and some of the things we're trying to do in remote patient monitoring, not the topic for today, are really part of that. So I moved from there to a safety regulator. So it's actually technical safety. And part of my work there was the implementation of AI to direct safety inspectors to go to specific sites that had a higher risk. So this was, 8 years ago, fully integrated into our production systems, our iPads, inspections, and such. Key thing I learned there was, the technology is there, the algorithm is there. The issue is adoption. So it is the person trusting what the algorithm is saying. And so our example is we are investing heavily with partners to develop an end-to-end clinical AI platform that would allow for AI to be developed, tested, run in parallel, and promoted through the different code environments safely. And it'll also become kind of a common interface so that people will know how to use it and they can trust it quicker. So that's me in a nutshell, and looking forward to the discussion. Thanks for having me.